Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today,
Mhm.
we're going to be taking a look at Booking Holdings.
Okay.
The company behind travel giants like Booking.com and Priceline. You sent us a pretty thorough report on them,
Right.
and the goal is to see if BKNG, that's their ticker symbol,
hmm
might be a good fit for your portfolio.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
A lot of us have probably used at least one of their sites
Yeah.
to book a trip, but this report dives much deeper into their financials and future prospects.
Right. And I have to admit, I was surprised to learn that Booking Holdings used to be called Priceline.
Oh, wow.
They rebranded back in 2018, which
Okay.
makes sense given they do way more than just those name your price deals these days.
Yeah, they've really expanded their reach, and their recent performance has been pretty impressive. Just looking at Q4 of 2024,
Okay.
their room nights booked jumped a solid 13% compared to the year before.
Why?
And their adjusted EBITDA, that's earnings before all the financial stuff,
Right.
landed at a massive $1.8 billion for the quarter. That's a 26% increase year over year.
Okay, those are some serious gains. So it sounds like they're not just surviving, they're thriving.
Yeah.
But what really caught my eye in this report was their focus on something called the connected trip.
Okay. Interesting.
It sounds futuristic,
Yeah.
almost too good to be true.
Well, it is their vision for the future of travel. And it hinges on generative AI. We're talking about those AI systems that can create content, solve problems, and even have conversations.
Right.
Booking Holdings wants to use this technology to revolutionize how we plan and experience trips.
Okay, but what does that actually look like in practice? Paint me a picture.
Imagine this, you start planning a trip on Booking.com.
Okay.
And their AI trip planner not only finds you the best flights and hotels, but it also suggests local activities you might enjoy, books your rental car,
Mm-hmm.
and even recommends restaurants based on your preferences. All of this happens within their platform.
Wow.
No more juggling a dozen different apps or websites.
That would definitely simplify things.
Yeah.
I mean, who hasn't felt overwhelmed trying to piece together all the parts of a trip?
Right, exactly.
But is this connected trip just a pipe dream? Or are they actually making progress on it?
They're already piloting an AI trip planner on Booking.com, and they're seeing some early success with it.
Okay.
Plus, they've already launched an AI-powered travel assistant. On Priceline, named Penny, think of it as your personal travel concierge available 24/7 to answer questions, make changes to your itinerary, and even find you better deals.
Okay, now Penny has my attention.
Hmm.
Sounds like Booking Holdings is putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to AI innovation.
They are, and it seems to be paying off. Their connected trip transactions grew by over 45% last year.
Wow.
Clearly, there's a demand for a more personalized and streamlined travel experience.
This is all really promising. But I have to ask, what about the competition? Don't other travel companies have access to AI?
They do, and that's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The report actually points to the rise of something called agentic platforms as a potential challenge.
Okay.
These platforms are using AI in even more sophisticated ways, essentially acting as your personal travel agent, proactively suggesting trips, negotiating deals, and taking care of all the details.
Agentic platforms. That sounds pretty intense. So how is Booking Holdings planning to stay ahead in this AI arms race?
They're betting big on two things: their vast trove of data
Okay.
and their decades of experience in the travel industry. They're also forming strategic partnerships with leading AI companies, essentially inviting these companies to play in their sandbox and use their data and platform to develop and test their AI-powered tools.
That's a clever strategy. They're not just trying to build everything themselves.
Right,
They're leveraging the expertise of others
right,
and positioning themselves as a hub for AI innovation in the travel space.
exactly. But even with this forward-thinking approach, there are still risks to consider.
Like what? Give me the bad news.
Well, there's the potential for these agentic platforms to gain significant market share, which could cut into Booking Holdings' dominance.
All right, the competition is getting smarter and more aggressive. What else should we be watching out for?
There are also concerns about Booking Holdings' shift towards what's called a merchant booking model.
Okay.
Traditionally, they acted as a middleman, connecting travelers with hotels and other travel providers.
Mm-hmm.
But with this new model, they're becoming the merchant of record, collecting payments from travelers and then paying the suppliers.
I see. So they're taking on more responsibility in the transaction.
Right.
But how does that translate into risk?
Well, it could potentially squeeze their profit margins. They're now responsible for handling payments and dealing with any issues that might arise, which adds complexity and cost.
That makes sense. It's like going from being a matchmaker to running the entire dating service.
Yeah,
There's more potential for things to go wrong.
exactly. And another risk factor highlighted in the report is a possible slowdown in room night growth.
Okay.
They're actually projecting some deceleration in the first quarter of 2025.
That doesn't sound good. Is this a sign of trouble on the horizon?
It's hard to say for sure. They attribute this slowdown to a few factors, like tougher comparisons to the previous year,
Okay.
which saw some unusually strong growth, and the quirkiness of the calendar, a leap year, and the shifting timing of Easter.
So they're basically saying it's a temporary blip, not a trend.
That's their take on it. And it's worth noting that they're still projecting solid growth for the full year, but it's definitely something investors will be watching closely.
It seems like Booking Holdings is facing some real challenges,
Right.
but they're also not shying away from them.
Right.
The report mentions they're taking steps to address these investor concerns head-on. What can you tell us about that?
They're emphasizing their experience and adaptability. They've been in the travel game for over 25 years, weathering all sorts of storms and navigating major technological shifts. They believe their data advantage and partnerships with leading AI organizations give them a strong footing to compete with these new agentic platforms.
So they're drawing on their history and their network to instill confidence? What about those concerns regarding the merchant booking model and its potential impact on margins?
They argue this model actually benefits both travelers and suppliers. It allows for more flexible payment options for travelers, and it could potentially lead to lower costs for both sides of the transaction.
So they're framing it as a win-win situation. Are they just putting a positive spin on things, or is there substance to their argument?
It's too early to say for sure. The success of this model will depend on their ability to execute efficiently and manage the added complexity.
Fair enough. And what about the projected room night slowdown? How are they addressing that concern?
They're sticking to their guns, maintaining that it's a short-term blip caused by external factors.
Okay.
They're also highlighting their efforts to optimize marketing spend, aiming for higher returns on their investments and increased direct traffic to their platforms. They're confident these initiatives will help them achieve their growth targets for the year.
Okay, so they're not hitting the panic button just yet. But it sounds like they're also not taking these challenges lightly.
Right.
They're making strategic moves and adjusting their approach.
Exactly. And it's worth noting that they're not just focused on weathering the storm. They're also continuing to invest in their long-term vision, particularly the connected trip experience.
Right. They're playing both offense and defense. They're trying to stay ahead of the curve while also solidifying their core business.
Yeah,
It's a balancing act for sure.
it is. And speaking of their core business, it's important to remember that Booking Holdings isn't just one company.
Right.
They have a whole portfolio of brands, each with its own strengths and strategies.
I was hoping we'd get to that. I'm really curious to hear more about these individual brands and how they all fit together.
Well, their flagship brand, Booking.com, is the world's leading online accommodation reservation platform.
Oh,
They have over 28 million listings, covering everything from hotels to apartments to unique places to stay.
wow.
They're known for their wide selection, rigorous verification process, and best price guarantee.
So if you're looking for a place to crash, Booking.com is probably your go-to site.
Probably.
What about Priceline? I feel like they've become synonymous with finding travel deals.
You're right, Priceline is all about value. They're known for their name-your-own-price tool, which allows travelers to bid on flights, hotels, and rental cars. They also offer vacation packages and cruises catering to the budget-conscious traveler.
And then there's rentalcars.com. Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But is there anything special about their approach?
They offer a wide selection of cars from over 900 companies worldwide.
Wow.
Their key differentiators are their no-fee cancellation policy and 247 customer support. They focus on making the rental process as smooth and hassle-free as possible.
I can appreciate that. Now on to Kayak. I personally use Kayak all the time to compare flight prices.
Kayak is a meta search engine that scans hundreds of travel sites to find the best deals on flights, hotels, rental cars, and vacation packages. Their price alert feature is a lifesaver. It notifies you when prices drop on flights you're interested in.
That's a must-have for any frequent traveler. And last but not least, there's OpenTable. It seems a bit different from their other brands, but it still fits into their travel ecosystem.
Absolutely. OpenTable is the world's leading provider of online restaurant reservations. They have a network of over 54,000 restaurants,
Wow.
allowing diners to search for places to eat by cuisine, location, price range, and even view menus and photos. You can book reservations, instantly earn dining rewards, and even pay your bill through their app.
It sounds like they're covering all the bases. From finding a place to stay, to booking a rental car, to securing that perfect dinner reservation, they're really aiming to be the one-stop shop for all things travel.
That's their goal. They're building an ecosystem that caters to every aspect of the travel experience, and they're using technology, particularly AI, to personalize and enhance that experience.
This deep dive has been really insightful. We've learned a lot about Booking Holdings, their strengths, their weaknesses, their challenges, and their opportunities.
It's been a fascinating exploration. They're clearly a company in motion, constantly adapting and innovating to stay ahead of the curve.
But the big question on everyone's mind is, should you invest in them? Is BKNG a stock worth adding to your portfolio?
That's the million-dollar question. And unfortunately, we can't give financial advice.
Right. This deep dive is for informational purposes only. But we can offer some key takeaways to help you make your own informed decision.
Booking Holdings is a global leader in the online travel industry. With a strong track record of success, they've consistently delivered impressive financial results. And their recent performance suggests they're continuing to grow and adapt to changing market conditions.
Their focus on AI and the connected trip vision is particularly intriguing. They're clearly betting big on these technologies to shape the future of travel. And their early progress with AI-powered tools like the Trip Planner and Penny is encouraging.
However, they face intense competition, particularly from these emerging agentic platforms that are leveraging AI in sophisticated ways. They also need to navigate potential challenges arising from their shift towards the merchant booking model and manage investor concerns about a possible slowdown in room night growth.
So it's a mixed bag. There's a lot to be optimistic about, but there are also some risks to consider.
Exactly. It's not a slam dunk investment, but it's certainly a company worth watching. Their performance over the coming quarters, particularly their ability to execute on their AI strategy and address these investor concerns, will be crucial in determining their long-term success.
This has been a really thorough deep dive. Thanks for breaking it all down for us.
It's been a pleasure diving in with you.
It really feels like they're at a pivotal moment in their journey.
Yeah.
They're a well-established company, but
Mm.
they're not afraid to make bold moves and embrace new technologies to stay ahead of the game.
That's what struck me as well. Their commitment to innovation is apparent, especially with their aggressive push into AI and the connected trip. And they seem to understand that it's not just about the technology itself,
Right.
but how they leverage it to create a better experience for travelers.
Right. They're not just throwing AI at the wall and seeing what sticks. They're thinking strategically about how to integrate it into every facet of their business, from personalized recommendations to streamlined booking processes.
And their decision to partner with other AI companies is a smart move. It allows them to tap into a wider pool of expertise and accelerate their development in this rapidly evolving field.
It's like they're building an AI-powered ecosystem, not just a collection of individual tools.
Precisely. And they're doing so while still maintaining a strong focus on their core business, which is connecting travelers with the best possible travel experiences.
Right.
Their portfolio of brands, each catering to different needs and preferences, gives them a wide reach and a diverse revenue stream.
This brings us back to the question we posed earlier. Is Booking Holdings a stock worth considering for your portfolio?
As we said, we can't offer financial advice, but we've presented a lot of information to help you arrive at your own conclusion.
We've explored their recent performance, their long-term vision, their strategic investments, their challenges, and their opportunities. It's a nuanced picture with both positives and negatives to consider.
Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to invest in Booking Holdings is a personal one. It depends on your individual risk tolerance, investment goals, and overall portfolio strategy.
But I think it's safe to say that Booking Holdings is a company worth keeping an eye on. They're playing a major role in shaping the future of travel, and their story is far from over.
Indeed, and this is what makes these deep dives so fascinating. We get to explore the inner workings of companies that are influencing our world, understand their strategies, and grapple with the complex factors that determine their success or failure.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Booking Holdings. If you found this analysis helpful and want to delve into more captivating stories behind the companies and trends shaping our world, make sure you subscribe to our channel and tap that bell icon to stay updated on our latest deep dives. We're always excited to share our discoveries with you. Until next time, happy diving.